Singapore's wildlife is amazing. Otters in the canals, colugos in the trees, and even civets hanging out in HDB estates. But not everything that you see out there belongs here. Some animals have snuck in, settled down, and are now throwing the entire ecosystem out of balance. And here's the twist, one of them, you probably see it every single day. So today we're diving into 5 animals that don't belong here in Singapore. How they got here, what damage they're doing, and why this problem is way bigger than it looks. Before we begin, for those new to my channel, my name is Terrence and I've been a wildlife photographer here in Singapore for the past 10 years. I'm also a Nikon creator with Nikon Singapore, and I've worked with multiple other brands and organizations to create content around wildlife and wildlife photography. With that, let's talk about the animals that don't belong here. Let's start with a familiar face, the red-eared slider. You've probably seen them basking in sunlit ponds, stacked on top of one another like tiny green pancakes. Cute? Sure, but also completely invasive. Red-eared sliders are native to the southern United States, not Singapore. But thanks to the pet trade, they became insanely popular in the 90s and 2000s. People bought them by the thousands, often as little babies. But here's the catch, they grow a lot. And they get aggressive. They need big tanks, strong filters, and long-term care. So what happens when owners get tired of them? They release them into reservoirs, into temple ponds, into parks, and once they're out, they thrive, out-competing native turtles like the Malayan box turtle, eating aquatic plants, fish, and pretty much anything else. Now, red-eared sliders dominate Singapore's ponds, not because they belong, but because we put them here. Number 4, the soft-shell turtle. Long neck, pancake shell, periscope nose, these turtles are fast, carnivorous, and built like underwater torpedoes. While some soft shells are native to Southeast Asia, many of the ones found here, like the Chinese soft-shell turtle, especially in reservoirs, are likely non-native. Pet trade again. People buy them thinking they're exotic and cool, but as they grow large and aggressive, they get dumped. And in the wild, they eat fish, frogs, crustaceans, and due to people releasing them, they are now silently spreading in our ponds. And unlike most turtles, these ones can bite. Coming in at number 3, the green iguana. Green iguanas are not native to Asia at all. They come from Central and South America, but they've been popular in the exotic pet scene for years. As babies, they are super adorable, but at full size, they're about 1.5 meters long, strong enough to tail whip your face, and they poop like a small dog. And that's when people panic. Unable to cope, some owners release them, or the iguanas escape on their own. And they adapt in trees, in parks, even in residential estates. They're herbivores, but they cause so much damage by eating ornamental plants and disrupting local flora. In countries like Taiwan and Florida, iguanas have become a massive invasive issue. So far, these iguanas in Singapore have established small populations in various corners around here, but of course, it may become an issue if their growth rate becomes rampant. At number 2, the American bullfrog. Think frogs are harmless? This one will change your mind. Native to the United States, the American bullfrog is absolutely massive, up to 20 centimeters long, and are known for eating anything it can fit in its mouth. Insects, birds, other frogs, even snakes. And these frogs likely entered Singapore through the live food trade. They've been spotted in ponds, marshes, and canal systems. And here's the danger. Not only are they highly predatory, but they're also carriers of amphibian diseases, which have devastated frog populations globally. So in short, they are a threat to native amphibians, and we let them in. At number 1, the Javan Miner. Loud, confident, and absolutely everywhere. This bird, which many assume is local, was actually introduced in the 1920s. It quickly outcompeted the native common myna and spread across the entire island. Today, you see them raiding food courts, nesting in lampposts, and screaming at dawn. They've adapted so well to urban life, they've become way too dominant. And while we may have accepted them as part of daily life, their success came at a cost, pushing out native species, disrupting bird communities, and reshaping Singapore's urban birdscape. And this list barely scratches the surface. Many non-native animals have found refuge in Singapore. So how did all of this happen? It comes down to 3 human factors. The exotic pet trade. Many of these species are sold legally or illegally. Often people buy them without knowing how difficult they are to care for. Once they outgrow their tanks or get aggressive, the owners panic and release them. Number 2, Mercy release. This is the practice of releasing animals into the wild as a spiritual or religious act of compassion. It's common in parts of Asia. But here's a problem. These animals usually suffer and die, or worse, they survive and become invasive. A peaceful ritual becomes an ecological disaster. And number 3, escapees and poor regulation. Some animals just escape. Others are dumped by breeders or traders, and weak enforcement of exotic animal laws allows this cycle to repeat. The result, Singapore's biodiversity, already limited by space, gets overwhelmed by species that never belonged here in the first place. Native turtles disappear, native frogs vanish, local birds decline, and we end up with an ecosystem that looks natural, but is not. So, what can we do? Never release animals into the wild. And if you see unusual wildlife, report it to NParks or AVS. Singapore's wild spaces are rare, beautiful, and fragile. Let's make sure they stay that way for the animals that actually belong here. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe to see more content around wildlife and wildlife photography. You can also support this channel by buying me a cup of coffee, link in the description down below.